Happy Friday, guys. Made it to the end of the week. This is Jason and the Simpademic, and I'm keeping in with the suggestion from Levi Nix to upload my episodes on a regular time on a daily basis. As I mentioned in previous episodes, that is going to be Monday through Friday at 5 p.m. Central Time every day. And that is the time that you are seeing this on Friday. So I'm going to expand on the Tuesday or Thursday edition where I asked, should I go MGTOW or not? Well, I did some researching here, and I'm very devoted towards Jesus Christ and my faith in Him and the Lord and the Bible itself. And the ultimate conclusion to this is probably not anything that any of the celebrity content creators that I tagged in my post would say, but the two are not compatible. And men who are MGTOW, like myself, have been hurt by women a lot. Legitimately, and many of them legitimately so. But it doesn't excuse taking a worldview that eliminates women from view entirely. Now, on the contrary, does this mean men are required to pursue them? I will say that at age 53, the equation's a lot different for me than it would be somebody that may in their 20s or 30s. Men in my particular age bracket don't really necessarily have to pursue women because most of us are beyond the childbearing age range. Now, of course, any man out there can physically create a child. Look at Robert De Niro. Man is so old, I can't even see how a man in his mid 80s who's basically withered physically would even get any sort of a woman to touch him with a 10-foot pole in that regard. But here we are. But most men in my particular age bracket, this is not really a consideration. I do have a 20-year-old daughter. She spends most of her time with her mother, but I am beyond that. As I mentioned before, I've had the fix done. I physically cannot do that. But am I willing to write off an entire half of the human race because of the pain and suffering that I've had? My Bible says I shouldn't. And even Paul in his letters to Timothy, his protege. Paul lived with incredible sexual discipline for the remainder of his life. And obviously there's nothing wrong with that. He had what they call the gift. And I might have developed it myself. But I need to get out. I decided after reading that article that I need to get off the MGTOW pity party and just start looking at solutions. I do consider myself a Sigma male. Now, what that means is we are kind of lone wolves, but at the same time, we solve things. That's what it comes down to. So my gym situation has a solution. I'm going to be in a Zoom call with a new trainer from a service called TrainWell. It's a mobile app, and I will let you guys know how that goes. Because some of you out there who have had these situations, who have been blown off by women, maybe have run into unsavory situations in gyms such as I have. this might be the solution. And I said in a previous episode that I prefer to have a male trainer, but in this case I'm actually going with a female one. Mainly based on qualifications and based on my personal goals. And in a situation where I'm doing training in classes with a trainer who is obviously at long distance, those risks don't really exist in this kind of environment. So I'm going to do an onboarding call next Monday. I'll let everybody here know how it goes. Who knows? I may be singing their praises by the end of a couple weeks. So I'll let everybody know how this goes. But I think there's this could possibly be a solution. Getting away from the gym, social media pursuers that I ran into one. The other problem with a gym owner having a problem with my content on this channel and then making up false harassment allegations, and then having another gym owner just up the road decline to serve me, which is her right as a business owner, but at the same time she didn't give any explanation. She says, I'm a business owner, I have the right to do whatever I want. I am not required to serve you, and so I'm going to return your payment. And so that is plain and simple where that happens to all stand at the moment. So I think I have found my solution, which is what we do. No matter what you call the type of man, they fix things. And I believe this could be my resolution to my problem. And again, as I've said in yesterday's episode, I am socially a little bit awkward. But I'm just simply not going to allow. I also posted this in another comment to the wingman Anna Jorgensen. And I said, I am not going to allow a handful of feminist women ruin my interactions and my life or allow them to take away my fitness choices and allow them to take away the pursuit of that. I'm in a co-ed group right now for the summer at my church. I'm going to stay there. I don't think these women are necessarily, my particular type. As I've said before, I think a lot of them talk too much about God and the Bible, and I don't think it's very attractive either. But even if I'm not attracted to them, I can still use them as practice in a social setting. And I think that's a good thing. And so that's my decision. Ladies and gents, I'm pretty content with it. I'm not going to go pursuing, I'm not going to go chasing, I really don't go approaching. I'm still not going to do that. But am I going to completely write off an entire half of the human race because a couple of women decided they had it for me? I can't do that. Biblically, I can't do that either. And MGTOW at its root is a very selfish, kind of angry towards women type of movement. And Jesus was not angry towards women, and neither was the Apostle Paul. Neither of them ever had relationships with women. But in their case, they cared and they loved everybody. And I think that's my calling coming out of this entire disaster, if you will. I can't follow the black pill trail because that would just be selfish. So anyhow, guys, my hand is cramping holding this phone, so I gotta switch this around just a little bit. But anyhow, it's Jason on the Simpademic. Thanks for hanging with me through the entire episode here, and I will see you on the Saturday episode. I haven't decided my schedules for Friday and Saturdays yet, or Saturdays and Sundays yet, because I no longer have a gym to go to. I don't know what the scheduling for that particular aspect of my life is. I don't really have any particular commitments I have to try to get around, and so I just haven't settled on times yet. The only thing I have to work around is church on Sundays, which is usually, in this particular case, I volunteer always as an auditorium host, and I work both services. Volunteer for 9 o'clock and 11 o'clock a.m. So the episodes might drop in the middle or later in the afternoon. I just have to work that out, and so I will decide that in fairly short order. But anyhow, thank you for hanging with me through all of this. Enjoy your weekend, guys. I just appreciate everybody who's here. Drop a comment below if you have any direction or what you think about all of this. It's pretty heavy stuff, but that's what I'm here to try to tackle. So, drop a comment and a like. I would appreciate it with the bottom of my heart. You folks have a good weekend, and peace out, homies.